NCAA totals for Monday, December 19th. We got 3 games on the card today. Don't forget we have our NBA segment out there as well. And don't forget to check out SBR for all the odds, numbers, sign-up bonuses, all the sports books. It's all there at SBR, so be sure to check it out. All right, we got 3 games on the card today. First, we're going to look at, well, first, let me just tell you, they're all over. I'm going over the total on all of these, much like we did yesterday. We were 2-1, so that was good. Let's just go ahead and start breaking it down. A couple of things I wanted to mention about yesterday, but I don't want to get too much into it. Let's just go ahead and jump right into today. We still have a winning record in NCAA hoops, not by the margin we want, but still, it's better than a losing record, plus a winning record in the NBA as well. So we just want to keep widening that margin. Let's see if we can do that today. First one we got is Tennessee State and Duke. Not a great matchup because Duke probably should roll them pretty good. Tennessee State's not bad. They got rolled by NC State, though, pretty decently. Oddsmakers have this at 138. Make sure there's not a hook on that. 138.5. Sorry about that. There is a hook. And I'm going over the total, like I already mentioned. Now, Tennessee State, they played at NC State back on the 10th to a 67-55 final. I think, but looking at the way they've played this year, they could score points at times like they did when they played against Middle Tennessee State, like when they played against Canisius, but now they're playing Duke. Whole different ballgame, especially Cameron Indoor Stadium. Still, that being said, I like Duke to score probably 80, and I think Tennessee State could score 60. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take over that 138.5. Now, we got Tennessee State right now. They're averaging just 68.4 points per game, and they're allowing just 64.2 points per game. That's pretty decent. Duke, on the other end, though, they're averaging 86.3 points per game. That ranks 13th in the country, and they're allowing 62.5. So that number gives me a little bit of pause, but I think the tempo is really going to be there on Duke's side. And I just kind of got a feeling this is kind of a really silly example, so don't just, don't take it as, complete coming from above logic from me, but the fact that North Carolina and Kentucky played to a really high total the other day just makes me think that Duke's just going to come out and score a ton tonight to let us know that they're still in the mix. I mean, that's just what I think. It may be silly, but look at Duke their last several games: 94, 84, 94, 78 against Michigan State, 93, 88. I mean, they're going to score over 80 in this contest. I think Tennessee State's going to be able to keep up a little bit. They're going to lose by 20 or more, but they should be able to score a little bit. Duke, offensively, they've been great. Let's look at some numbers here. Percentage-wise, they're shooting 36.6% from distance. They're shooting almost 60% on their two-point shots at 58.2%. Or over 58%. That's probably a better analogy, or a better analysis. Overall, they're shooting over 50% from the floor. They're going to score a lot. Tennessee State has been pretty good defensively, allowing opponents to shoot just 37.5% from the floor. And for them to hang in this game, they're going to have to do that. But this is Duke. This is a completely different monster. And I don't think they're going to be able to go at a slow enough pace. I mean, right now, we got Tennessee State. They are averaging 55.3 attempts per game. That's not a lot. That isn't. But Duke, I mean, they're really an up-tempo team. They're going to want to go, and they're just so efficient, I mean, they're going to score. I mean, they're averaging over 60 attempts per game. I like this to get over. I like for Duke to score probably about 85, something like that, maybe 88, be closer to 90. They're going to put up a lot. They can name the score. So can Tennessee State score? Well, yeah, I mean, they got some decent percentages. They do shoot 35% from distance, which ranks kind of in the middle of the country. And they do shoot about 45% on their two-point shots. So they could score a little bit. Their tempo is not that great, but I think they're going to go ahead and score enough with Duke to get us over that 138.5. That actually looks a little bit too big when you break down the numbers, but I think they get there. All right, next one up. Stanford and Southern Methodist. Now, I looked at this one for a while. 131. I'm going over the total. Let me adjust something here real quick. This is two good defensive teams. But it's the holidays, and it's time to score some points. We got Stanford still, they brought over Haas from UAB, who kind of went a little bit up-tempo, but he's really kind of slowed things down with Stanford and just gone with the personnel that he has. However, they're still scoring 67.6 points per game. That's not bad. SMU, they're averaging 72.8 points per game. Now, defensively, they're both stellar. SMU's allowing 61.4 points per game. That's really good. That ranks 19th in the country. Stanford, not bad at all, 63.7. Tempo-wise is not great, but percentages-wise are good. Let me tell you what I mean. We got right now Stanford averaging 55 attempts per game, much like Tennessee State, like I just talked about. Not great for when we want to get over a total, but 131 is pretty low. Then we got SMU. They're averaging 56 attempts per game. Again, not great. On the other end, they're about the same defensively. But let's look at their shooting percentages, and this is what I like. You got Stanford. They're shooting over 46% on their two-point shots. That's really good. And they are making almost 24 buckets per game. I don't know if they're going to be able to score enough against SMU, but I think SMU is going to be able to score because we look at their percentages. They're shooting 37% from distance, 50% on their two-point shots, and about 46% overall. Stanford's a pretty good defensive team, and they like to slow things down. But again, I don't think that's going to happen tonight. SMU's going to get up and down, and I think they're going to go ahead and be able to score. Absolutely. This isn't going to be bogged down. I think this is going to be a mini track meet between these two decently athletic teams. Both teams can move the ball well, and I think they get there. So I'm going over that 131. I like that, actually. I like them to get over that 131. That's a very interesting number to me. Last one up we got is Cornell and USC. USC has been outstanding. What a great year they're having. And they were supposed to come in thin this year. Gosh, they got a nice club. I love how they move the ball. I'm going over the total. Oddsmakers have a big one set on this too. 154.5. And I'm going over. I think this is going to get up and down all night. Cornell's averaging almost 70 points per game. USC's averaging 82 points per game. That doesn't get us there with this total. Defensively, doesn't really get us there either, except for this number right here. Cornell is allowing almost 80 points per game. USC might put up 100 tonight. USC is allowing about 70 points per game. Well, 68 points per game, I should say that. USC, the tempo's pretty good, about 61 attempts per game. Cornell, not bad, 58 attempts per game. USC allows those 64, and Cornell allows about 63. So they like to get up and down. 154.5 is a lot, but USC can flat out shoot. They are a really, really good shooting team percentage-wise. They're shooting over 36% from distance, 52.4% on their two-point shots, and over 46% shooting overall. They also rank in the better part of the country in effective field goal percentage and efficiency. But two teams need to go to get us over 154.5. I think we have that, though, because you got a Cornell team. You know, they get up a lot of attempts. They shoot a lot of threes. And they're not bad. They rank in about the middle of the country in three-pointers made per game. And they're shooting almost 50% on their two-point shot. So I think they get to that 154.5. I think USC is going to put up over 90. And I think that's going to help get us there. You know, we look at some games recently by them. And Cornell gives up a lot of points in a hurry. Their most recent game at Wyoming, 97 to 78, which would get us over this total. I think it's going to be something similar to that tonight. So 154.5 looks big, but I think they get there. All right, quick recap. Here we go. 3 games. We got Tennessee State, Duke over the 138.5 one, which I think Duke's going to score close to 90 points. Stanford, SMU, 2 good defensive teams, but also they're pretty efficient offensively, especially SMU, and they're at home. I like for them to score. I think they get over the 131. And finally, Cornell and USC, 154.5, big number, but I think they get there in what should be a track meet. I'm going to go over as well. So 3 overs for today. Those are our NCAA basketball picks, and I wish you luck on your picks today.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.